Welcome, dear friends, to a space of quiet reflection. Today, we're going to gently explore a profound truth that often hides in plain sight. Much of the suffering we experience in life comes not from life itself, but from the silent, often unconscious expectations we place upon ourselves, upon other people, and upon the world around us. These expectations, though born from hope or desire, can become invisible chains, binding us to disappointment, frustration, and a persistent sense of unease. Imagine for a moment a life where the weight of shoulds and musts begins to lift, where you find a deeper peace not by changing the world, but by gently shifting your inner landscape. This isn't about lowering your standards or abandoning your dreams, but about cultivating a wisdom that allows you to navigate life's currents with greater serenity. We'll be drawing inspiration from the timeless insights of Buddhist wisdom, not as a rigid doctrine, but as a compassionate guide to understanding the nature of our minds and the path to a more peaceful existence. We'll uncover 7 common expectations that, without us even realizing it, are secretly making us suffer, and discover how a subtle shift in perspective can unlock a profound sense of freedom. So, let's begin this journey together, with an open heart and a curious mind. The first expectation secretly making us suffer is the expectation of constant happiness and pleasure. In a world that constantly sells us the idea of an ideal, perpetually joyful life, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that we should always feel good, that every moment must be pleasant, and that any discomfort or sadness is a sign that something has gone wrong. We chase highs, avoid lows, and when life inevitably presents its challenges, we feel a deep sense of injustice or failure. Buddhist wisdom, however, gently reminds us of dukkha, often translated as suffering, but more accurately understood as unsatisfactoriness or dis-ease. It's not a pessimistic view, but a realistic one. Life inherently contains both joy and sorrow, pleasure and pain, gain and loss. To expect only happiness is to fight against the very nature of existence. When we release the expectation that life should always be pleasant, we open ourselves to accepting the full spectrum of human experience. We learn to appreciate the moments of joy more deeply and to meet moments of difficulty with greater resilience, understanding them as temporary and part of the natural flow. This acceptance isn't resignation, it's liberation. It allows us to find peace even amidst discomfort, knowing that all things are impermanent and that clinging to pleasant feelings only creates more suffering when they inevitably pass. Secondly, we often suffer from the expectation of perfection, especially from ourselves. We carry an internal critic that demands flawlessness, telling us we must always succeed, never make mistakes, and constantly measure up to an impossibly high standard. This relentless pursuit of perfection leads to anxiety, self-doubt, and a fear of failure that paralyzes us. We become our own harshest judges, unable to appreciate our efforts or acknowledge our inherent worth. Buddhist teachings offer the profound concept of self-compassion. It's about recognizing that, like all beings, we are imperfect, prone to error, and deserving of kindness. Instead of striving for an unattainable ideal, we are encouraged to embrace our humanity, with all its strengths and vulnerabilities. When we let go of the expectation of being perfect, we create space for growth, learning, and genuine self-acceptance. We understand that mistakes are not failures, but opportunities for wisdom. This doesn't mean abandoning personal growth. It means approaching it with a gentle, encouraging spirit rather than a harsh, demanding one. It allows us to be present with who we are right now and to move forward with a sense of peace rather than constant striving. Our third source of suffering often stems from the expectation that others will always meet our needs and desires. We project our hopes, our ideals, and our unfulfilled longings onto the people in our lives, our partners, friends, family, colleagues, expecting them to understand us perfectly, to act in ways that align with our preferences, or to fulfill roles we've assigned them. When they inevitably fall short because they are independent beings with their own thoughts, feelings, and paths, we experience disappointment, resentment, and a sense of betrayal. Buddhist wisdom emphasizes interdependence and the unique nature of each individual. It teaches us to let go of the need to control others or to dictate their behavior. Instead, it encourages us to cultivate compassion for their journey, recognizing that everyone is doing their best with the understanding they have. When we release the expectation that others should be different, we free ourselves from the cycle of frustration. We learn to appreciate people for who they are, rather than who we wish them to be. This shift allows for more authentic connections, built on acceptance and understanding, rather than unconditional love or unmet demands. It empowers us to take responsibility for our own happiness, rather than placing that burden on someone else. The fourth expectation that secretly makes us suffer is the expectation of fairness and justice in every situation. We believe that life should always be equitable, that good deeds must be rewarded, and that suffering should only befall those who deserve it. When we witness injustice, experience personal setbacks that seem undeserved, or see others prosper without apparent effort, we feel anger, bitterness, and a deep sense of unfairness. This expectation can lead to constant comparison and a feeling of being perpetually wronged. Buddhist teachings, particularly the concept of karma, offer a different perspective. Karma isn't about divine retribution, but about cause and effect, a natural law of the universe. It's a vast, intricate web of actions and consequences that extends beyond our immediate understanding. While we strive for justice and compassion in our actions, we also learn to accept that the world, in its vastness and complexity, doesn't always conform to our personal sense of what is fair in the short term. Letting go of the expectation that life must always be fair allows us to cultivate equanimity, a balanced mind that remains steady amidst life's ups and downs. It frees us from the emotional turmoil of constantly judging and comparing, enabling us to focus our energy on what we can control: our own responses, our own actions, and our own commitment to kindness and wisdom, regardless of external circumstances. Fifth, we often suffer from the expectation of permanence and stability. We cling to situations, relationships, possessions, and even our own identities, believing they should remain constant and unchanging. We desire security and predictability, and when life inevitably shifts, as it always does, we experience fear, anxiety, and grief. The loss of a job, the end of a relationship, the aging of our bodies, or even just the changing seasons can trigger deep distress because we resist the fundamental truth of impermanence. The Buddhist teaching of anicca, or impermanence, is one of its core insights. It's a gentle yet powerful reminder that everything in existence is in a constant state of flux. Nothing lasts forever, and clinging to what is transient is a sure path to suffering. When we release the expectation that things should stay the same, we begin to flow with life rather than fighting against it. We learn to appreciate moments as they are, knowing they are fleeting. This doesn't mean we don't plan for the future or cherish what we have. It means we hold these things lightly, with an understanding that change is the only constant. Embracing impermanence allows us to adapt more readily, to grieve losses with greater acceptance, and to find a deeper peace in the ever-changing dance of life. Our sixth expectation that causes hidden suffering is the expectation of control. We often believe that we should be able to dictate outcomes, manage every detail, and prevent anything undesirable from happening. We strive to control our environment, the actions of others, and even our own internal experiences, such as thoughts and emotions. When reality inevitably deviates from our meticulously planned scenarios, we feel frustrated, anxious, and powerless. This relentless need for control creates a constant state of tension and worry. Buddhist wisdom, particularly the concept of anatta, or non-self, helps us understand the limits of our control. While we have agency over our intentions and actions, the vast majority of life's events are beyond our direct command. We cannot control the weather, the economy, other people's choices, or even the next thought that arises in our minds. Letting go of the expectation that we should be in control is a profound act of liberation. It allows us to focus our energy on what is truly within our sphere of influence, our own responses, our own efforts, and our own cultivation of inner peace. This doesn't mean becoming passive. It means acting with wisdom and effort, then releasing attachment to specific outcomes. It's about finding freedom in surrender, trusting in the unfolding of life, and discovering a deep well of peace that isn't dependent on external circumstances. Finally, the seventh expectation secretly making us suffer is the expectation of instant gratification and immediate results. In our fast-paced world, we've become accustomed to instant answers, immediate feedback, and quick fixes. We expect our efforts to yield immediate success, our desires to be fulfilled without delay, and our problems to vanish with a snap of the fingers. When progress is slow, when goals require sustained effort, or when solutions aren't readily apparent, we become impatient, discouraged, and prone to giving up. This expectation fuels a constant sense of dissatisfaction and a feeling that we're always falling short. Buddhist teachings emphasize the importance of patience, perseverance, and understanding the natural unfolding of processes. Just as a seed takes time to grow into a tree, or a river carves a canyon over millennia, meaningful change and true understanding require time and consistent effort. Letting go of the expectation of instant gratification allows us to embrace the journey, to appreciate the process, and to find joy in the small steps forward. It cultivates a deeper sense of contentment, knowing that true growth is often gradual and subtle. This perspective encourages us to engage with life with a calm, steady determination, free from the frantic urgency that often leads to burnout and disappointment. It teaches us to trust in the natural rhythm of things and to find peace in the present moment, rather than constantly chasing a future outcome. As we gently bring our reflections to a close, remember that these insights are not meant to be burdens, but rather keys to unlocking a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Releasing these expectations isn't about giving up on life or lowering your aspirations. It's about cultivating a profound wisdom that allows you to engage with life more fully, with less resistance and more joy. It's about understanding that true freedom comes not from controlling the world, but from transforming our relationship with it. By gently observing our expectations and consciously choosing to let go of those that bind us, we create space for acceptance, compassion, and a deep, abiding sense of inner peace. Thank you for joining me on this reflective journey today. I truly appreciate you taking the time to explore these profound ideas. If these insights resonated with you, please consider following for more content designed to support your path to well-being. May your journey be filled with peace, understanding, and ever-increasing freedom.